is advised.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Board Games Unlocked, and I'm doing a no run-through review for Star-Lord, who is one of the newest heroes to Marvel Champions. And like Gamora, I thought I had uploaded my review over Star-Lord, but I guess I never did, hence why I don't have the little pack, because I usually throw those away once I am done. Anyway, Star-Lord, like pretty much everyone on the Guardians of the Galaxy, is absolutely fantastic and completely different from everyone else in that group. And that's very impressive, because with a game like this, you would expect to start to see some, oh, this character plays like this character. And while Marvel Champions does still have that hint of familiarity. Wow, never thought that word would be hard to say for me. They still have the feel of the character, which I super appreciate. And Star-Lord is amazing. I have so much fun playing with him, and if the way he plays fits his character so well. So, if you look at his alter ego, he does have a setup to where the way I've been playing it is, if you don't start with the elemental gun upgrade in your hand, you get to search for it. Now, you could take that as, oh, you'll start with 2. So, like, if you happen to have your opening hand of 6 and one of those is the elemental gun, setup says you can search your deck for another one. But I haven't done that. Like, I just got done playing with him, and I happen to have one in my opening hand, so I was like, okay, I guess I don't get to search for mine. Whichever way you want to play it, technically he actually has 2, so you should be able to have 2 if you so choose. But he does have the ability Smooth Talker as well, which is an action where you can choose a card from your hand and swap it with the top of your deck. Now, that comes in handy in 2 ways. One, I think it's like, ooh, I really don't like this card in my hand, I'll just swap it and just top deck and hope I get something better. But there are cards that do require you, specifically in his deck, it is Cosmo. I think it's Cosmo. The dog. Yep, Cosmo the dog, which is this one right here. That says, when he attacks or thwarts, if you name a card and it's on the top of your deck, he doesn't take consequential damage for doing that action. So you can do Smooth Talker, attack with Cosmo, and kind of keep him around, really, at least for a couple rounds. So, which isn't bad, but I've never personally done that, because I would rather use cards for something else. But that is an ability that he has. But his hero form is where it really pays off, and you do start to feel like Peter Quill or Star-Lord in general. So stats are decent. 2, 2, and 1. 2 thwart and 2 attack are pretty good. Defense is something that he does not do, but if you play him right, you might not even need it. Even though the way he plays, you might feel like you should. But he has a static ability that is, each ally you control gains the Guardian trait. This is good for a variety of reasons. One, Peter Quill has the leadership aspect in his deck that gives him a pretty good amount of allies, and even the allies that do come in his deck, Nova Prime, high cost, but he basically, when he comes in, he auto-defeats a non-elite minion, and has 3 attack and 3 health, but he doesn't have the he doesn't have the Guardian trait. Well, Peter Quill gives him that. Adam Warlock, is fantastic, but he's in the leadership aspect. He has the Aerial Mystic trait, not the Guardian trait. So he gives every ally that you want to play. Beta Ray Bill is Asgard, not Guardian, but once again that title is given to him from Star-Lord, and then Yondu does have the Guardian trait. This is important for a couple of reasons. One is for one card in the leadership aspect called Blaze of Glory. Glory! And you can only play this once per round, but each Guardian character that you play, or that is in play for this round, gets +2 thwart and +2 attack. And that's huge. Granted, it deals 1 damage to each Guardian character, so that'd be every ally you have. And, and Peter Quill himself, but still, like, giving them +2, so that would mean, let me just pull these out, because normally I talk about just their cards alone, but Peter Quill, or Star-Lord, works so well with this aspect. So Nova Prime now would be dealing 5 damage. Adam Warlock potentially at least would be dealing 3 damage, but depending on which one that you randomly discard from your hand. So he could potentially deal up to 6 damage. Cosmo is dealing 3 damage. You have, where is it, Beta Ray Bill dealing 6 damage. And then you have Yondu dealing 3 damage. And granted, they all have their special abilities around them, but these are all the allies that, I mean, granted, you have an ally limit, but you could obviously build around that to where you have cards that increase your ally limit, which are, I think, also in the leadership aspect. But still, like, if you get at least some of these heavy hitters out at some point throughout the game, then that's 5 damage from each of those from this one card, including Star-Lord. So this is huge to go along with his Guardian trait, which I very much enjoy. Now, let's go into why Star-Lord is so much fun. He has the ability, What Could Go Wrong, which is an interrupt. When you play a card from your hand, you can deal yourself 1 face-down encounter card to reduce the resource cost to play that card by 3. This is limited once per round, otherwise he would be just way too busted. You'd be able to basically one-shot anyone and hope that you don't die. But that's what's risky about him, is you don't know what you're going to get because it's face down, so it's a risk-reward kind of thing. But what's amazing about that is you have his element gun, and you have 2 of these in your deck, and so they're restricted, so you can only have 2 restricted cards, but as an action you can exhaust it and spend 1 resource to deal 3 damage to an enemy, and that attack gains piercing, so it's going to deal 3 damage regardless if someone has tough or whatever. His ability allows you to just play that for free. Or, if you do pay the cost to get your element gun, then you can do sliding shot, which is 3, but it could also be free, and you can only play that if you have the element gun, and that allows you to deal 5 damage, plus 2 additional damage for each face-down encounter card that is in front of you. So, this card by itself does 7 damage, and there are ways for you to actually get to have this do a bunch of damage, and that would be Daring Escape. Now this is huge because it's free, and you deal yourself a face-down damage, you ready Star-Lord, and then you draw a card. So this is essentially a free ready at the risk of an encounter card, which I absolutely love, because you basically do awesome shit on your turn, and then you hope you don't die if coming out on the villain's turn, because you just have no idea what's going to be coming off in front of you. Now, he has about, I think, 3 of those Daring Escapes in his deck. So there's 1, 2, there are 3 total. So essentially, if you had both of these, or all 3 of these, you could play, essentially ready him, multiple times. You could attack, thwart, whatever, do any combination of stuff, readying him, drawing cards the entire time, so it's not like you're going to have nothing in your hand. And then for free, so with these 3 alone, you would have 3 in front of you, do his ability to play Sliding Shot for free, having 4 encounter cards in front of you face down to do a bunch of damage. I mean, granted, this alone is going to do like an insane amount of damage, but if they make it to the villain turn, then it's like, okay, now they're going to attack me. Now I'm going to draw my encounter card, and I'm going to deal with these 4 encounter cards as well, which you might get lucky. You never know. They could all be villains, or minions. They could all be quick strikes. They could be, oh, hey, the villain attacks, or the villain schemes, just stuff like that. You just have no clue, and that's what makes him kind of so much fun to play. And then, on top of that, I mean, so he doesn't really have a whole lot of ways to avoid damage, hence why he's with the leadership aspect, because that they kind of take the brunt of the force. But, so he has a few cards that, he's extremely versatile. Like I just mentioned, just with Daring Escape, you're drawing a card each time you're readying him. But he does have Leader of the Guardian, so each Guardian character you control gets some thwart, so it's not like he's only good for attack, he's good for thwarting as well. He's also really good for aiding allies, making allies just stronger than they are. And because of the 2 Nova Prime and Beta Ray Bill costing 5, well, with his ability, you can make one of these cost 2, and with Beta Ray Bill, you can actually make him free if you have the that power of leadership. You combo this with his ability to make Beta Ray Bill free, which is huge because whenever he attacks, and whenever he attacks and defeats a minion, he removes threat from the main scheme. But he also does 3 damage, which is not nothing, plus the Blaze of Glory, allowing him to do a potential 5 damage, and protecting Peter from the repercussions that the villain's going to do on him, also giving him more thwart. So there's another upgrade for Star-Lord, which is his helmet. That is, when you're in hero form, you get an extra hand size for each face-down encounter card in front of you. That can be huge if you pair this with more ways to draw cards. Because the Daring Escape, it's a trade. You're playing it to draw 1. So you're not losing any hand advantage, but you're not gaining any either. So this one isn't inherently amazing, but paired with the right deck building, it could be really good. And his other one is Gutsy Move, which is a thwart remover or a threat. Remove 2 threat from a scheme, remove 2 additional threat for each face-down encounter card in front of you. Once again, Daring Escape with Gutsy Move could allow you to just completely nullify all threat that has been building up, because, I mean, he's 2, he could be 4, and then that could go up to 2, 4, 6, 2, 4, 6, so a total of 10 threat that's getting removed individually as well. So that could be huge. And, I mean, he does have his jet boots as well. This gives him the aerial trait, which is good for, which card was it? There was one that was good for each person with the aerial trait, or if you had the aerial trait. Oh, it was Air Supremacy, that's what it was. Choose up to X enemies, where X is equal to the number of characters that have the area trait, and you deal 3 damage to those enemies. So if you, one that gives him aerial, so now he's just him, and Adam Warlock has aerial, and I think, and Nova Prime has aerial, so you can just kind of do a little bit with that card alone, just dealing 3 damage. So he's extremely versatile in doing a decent amount of damage to quite a few people, or being able to hone in on one and dealing a bunch of damage, as well as also doing, threat removal. So once again, at the risk of waiting till it's not his turn anymore, because eventually you will steam out, and it's like, oh, okay, now I just have to hope I don't die on this turn. So let's go ahead and let's see, because I always like to do the best possible outcome, off the top of my head. So let's say you have Beta Ray Bill and Nova Prime out. You have, we'll use these as the potential, face down encounter cards. You have your element gun. Let's say you got both of them out. Let's say you were doing pretty good with setting up, and yeah, we'll just give him that. So you get, out of 6 cards, you would get your 3 your 3 Daring Escapes. That's gonna be your 3. You have a Sliding Shot. You have Blaze of Glory. Yeah, Blaze of Glory. Let's do Air Supremacy. And let's go ahead and do, I think, sure. Actually, you could even do something way better. Like, you can give Beta Ray Bill a Laser Blaster and Nova Prime a Laser Blaster as well. Those only cost 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so here's the 6 cards. So on your turn, you have this setup, which I thought I had. There we go. You have this setup. So you have your 2 elemental guns. You have Beta Ray Bill and Nova Prime with a Laser Blaster that gives them +1 attack. So yeah, Let's see if this does anything. So on, you're gonna want to attack with Star-Lord, which is gonna do 2 damage. You play Daring Escape, which deals a face down encounter card. I'll put that right there. There's 1 to ready him, and then you draw a card. Then you attack again for 4 damage. Play Daring Escape again to deal yourself another face down encounter card, because this doesn't say once per round. So you ready again. You play Daring Escape to do a 3rd attack, or you attack so for 6, dealing yourself another face down encounter card, readying him. So you've done 6 damage already with that. Then, and then you draw a card each time, so you're back to your hand of 6. Then you do Star-Lord's ability, face down, to play Sliding Shot, dealing 5 damage, and an additional 2 damage for each face down, so it's going to be 2, 4, 6, 8, 13 on top of the 6, so you're at 19 damage with that. And then, let's see, you could discard 2 to play Pulse Grenade. That's kind of a random one because you just discard the top 2. But instead what you would do is you would do Blaze of Glory, and that would, each Guardian character gets +2 thwart and +2 attack. So now Star-Lord can attack. He now has +2, so that'd be 4, so he is at 23. Beta Ray Bill will attack, dealing 6 total damage because the Laser Blaster gives him +1, so that'd be 29, and then Nova Prime does another 6, so 35. 35 points of damage, and then they each would take 2 damage, and Star-Lord would take the 1. And in fact, with the 2 cards you didn't use, so that'd be 35, you use the Element Gun, and then you discard a card to deal another 3 damage, so 35, so 38. Use both Element Guns, discard your last card to do 41 points of damage. With that kind of prep and setup, and this is always, of course, with the pre-build deck. Like, this isn't even if you're trying to deck build and make the leadership aspect or whatever aspect way better for Star-Lord. Granted, once again, you are going to be taking 5 total encounters plus whatever has already been out. So, but I mean, I think 41 points of damage, 45 or whatever it was, would probably do it for anyone. So yeah, that is kind of Star-Lord's deck, and I mean, plugging him in with the rest of them, they are just so much fun to play. I love all the Guardians. They are just so good. And on a scale of 1 to 10, I think I initially gave him an 8, but because of his risk reward, which I have not seen in any of the other decks, I think I'm going to give him a 9. He is really, really fun to play. They're all just so good in their own way. I still want to play, and I've only ever played Marvel Champions at a 2-player game at max. I really want to try it at 4 against Ronan with the Guardians. So that would just be such a blast, I think. But yeah, Star-Lord, 9 out of 10. Let me know what you think of him in the comments below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you. Hey everyone, thank you for watching, and I really hope that you enjoyed the video. If you would like to see more of my content, go ahead and click that subscribe button and the bell to be notified whenever I upload any new content. If you feel like supporting the channel, you can go ahead and click that Patreon link to be taken to my Patreon, and any help is truly appreciated. Other than that, stick around for any other run-throughs or reviews or cool top 10s or whatever I feel like putting on. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.